Um, uh, how are you now?
Um, it's okay, not so good, but yes,
Okay. Hmm.
speaking class today. You will speak more today.
Okay, sure.
So, as you know, that we are all doing employee, right? And we are
Hmm.
going to discussion on certain policies, which
Policies.
are right now roughly draft on bullet points, right? And from group also, you have gone through certain policies that may not be on all or not from the, first module, but yet there are the very
Hmm.
important topics, but yet it is just a template, right?
Yeah.
Because I missed certain points and because someone was looking forward, so I thought of let me help her and put it into that group. And from that group, somebody copied me my and again put it into that. I said, okay, ultimately it came to my group only. So
Hmm.
have you gone through, the policy or what you have practiced?
Okay, I have practiced about health policy, health and safety policy that I have checked, and
Which policy?
health and safety policy.
Okay.
So in that I have checked that how what are the measures to be taken, how like that depend upon company, what kind of company working is there.
Mm.
If it's a manufacturing plant, then definitely some safety measures would be there. And as a journal, there should be safety measures related to the electricity, related to the fire extinguishers, and related to the security guard.
That is basically Factory Act policy. That comes under the Factory Act. That's what I said.
Factory.
There's few
Okay.
policies, not from the first module what we are doing it, right?
Okay.
Uh,
Hmm.
so fine if you have gone through, but until unless you don't know about that module, why
Factory.
we look for this kind of safety policies and what are those and how it has to be implemented and how we give the training to our employees. We look for the certified trainers for that, like for
Hmm. For
first aid.
drillings and all.
First
First
of
aid,
all, so
drilling,
these
drills.
kind of policies are emergency policies which
Hmm.
cover under the 1948 Act. Right. These are like you need to train your employees for emergencies, like first aid, right? So first aid is basically for the reason of emergency. If somebody fall ill, or if somebody faints, or some breathing problem, or some other issues, or some kind of a trauma or an accident, then before we take the employee to the hospital, we need to give first aid,
The
right?
first aid within
So
the company.
for that, we normally, that's the duty of the HR and the training department to have time to time training from the um, trainer who is
Specialist.
a certified trainer in that. Say about St. John's Ambulance, Red Cross, or you can call trainer from that place also. And it is mandatory that every quarterly, because these
Company
kind
should
of
practice
training,
this.
suppose if you got your elbow injured, so what
Hmm.
happens that you need to give the bandage right over there,
Yeah.
to your wrist, right?
Yes.
So they are the trained people, and if I teach you today and you don't get,
Hmm.
for a year you don't get chance to bandage it, so you forget
Hmm.
it. So
Yes.
normally we give at least quarterly training to our
Okay.
employees for this emergency reason. These
Emergency.
are all
Yeah.
under first year. And for the second one is safety is for fire extinguisher. Yes,
Hmm.
because even the minor problem, minor mistake by any employee can happen that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like sometimes electricity shock is there, short circuits are there, or somebody
Hmm.
smokes and someone is using
And quarter.
matchbox, or so
Hmm.
many other reasons. Or even if we talk about that, you know, the earthquake comes. So
Hmm.
how you need to get down? You are not going to use the lift, right? You are supposed to, even in the firefighting also, we have the technical training. If you have heard about smoke drain, right?
Yeah.
In that we teach the employees that they should not use the lift. The lifts are blocked and they do need to come from the stairs, right?
Yes.
And again, health and safety, if I would like to tell about certain kind of regular checkups are there. As I said about the chemical
Okay.
industries there, which may be giving impact on the lungs of the employee.
Hmm.
Some kind of a welding work, right? Welding work
Hmm.
may hurt the eyesight also. And
Yes.
other certain reasons, if you have a child labor also, sometimes,
Okay.
you need to keep a record of the age of the child and the
Employee.
medical checkup by the government doctor, right? So that's must. I mean, that has to be your registers to be maintained properly, and the registers obviously have that the list I have given for. I mean the compliance list, right, in Excel sheet that mention everything over there, like what kind of register you are supposed to maintain in the factory.
So,
You are
for
doing,
this regular checkup,
yeah,
the companies would be calling someone else from the outside to have an audit on that safety measures, or that would be done within the company by some other employee.
if you have hired, I mean, on the number of employees you've hired the doctor, and it is a permanent
Okay.
doctor in your organization, right? That will be done by that doctor, right? If you haven't hired, the company is small, then you have to invite a doctor for medical check, right?
Okay.
And obviously, if something has happened, like the person needs I mean, the immediate, then you need to hospitalize the person. I mean, the referral for ESIC or some other. Nowadays, earlier it was only ESIC, but nowadays, due to the emergency and all, you can take the employee to any private nearby hospital, good hospital, and because there is a procedure. If you have gone through the procedure for ESIC, you as an employee need to go to your small ESIC office, get the slip made by the clerk over there at the window, and then you tell your illness. Then they will give you the name of the doctor you need to go and to get checkup. So it's a long and lengthy process, because this is for for small things like fever, cough, cold, and other small stomach aches, or some small kind of a problem. But suppose if an employee gets emergency problem at night, maybe some not at the COVID time, but I'm talking about certain kind of a heart attack or something, or all of a sudden get paralysis, or so there may be any
Okay.
major reason. So
Hmm. Hmm.
then you need not to go to ESIC. Your patient
Hmm.
should directly be admitted to the hospital which is nearby. But
Okay.
in 48 hours, in 48 hours, that is mentioned in your policy also, it's a law also, uh,
Hmm.
you need to inform to the ESIC doctors over there that your
Okay.
patient is admitted due to this reason last night, and the doctors, they will send the responsible person who is looking after will make the all records and fill up the forms and all, uh, so that you can get the further treatment, right, by the
Okay.
private hospital. So this is a
So,
process change. Earlier it was not there, but this is only for for major accidents or for a major problem, not for small
okay,
problem.
if some company is there who is into manufacturing of something, and through which the lungs may get affected, and meanwhile the checking, doctor found this of some employee that they have some lungs issue. So that cost during the treatment would be beared by the company.
No, the cost is borne by the hospital itself. ESIC is bearing your cost because you are giving contribution from your salary, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your employer is also giving contribution to the ESIC. So the
Okay.
whole cost, say about if you are hospitalized for 10 days or for a
Hmm.
month and for certain reasons, for some surgery, so it's totally free of cost, 100%. So that benefit
Okay.
I
There is
believe.
not any limit,
Sorry?
like limit is there as per the employee salary, or how the cost would be
Employee salary,
calculated.
you will get the only, yes, suppose if you get an eye operated, suppose your lens
Hmm.
is getting changed, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So as per your salary scale and all, yes, you will get the room facility, you will get the eye lens. I mean, that may not be of so good quality. If you want to buy your own and you request
Hmm.
doctor that you pay from your side and they just operate it, that can be done. And suppose if some person
The cost
gets,
would be different for employee to employee depending upon their salary.
so yeah, it depends. I mean, it varies. I mean, if you come under the labor class and also it varies.
Hmm.
Right? Suppose
It varies.
say about somebody leg got fractured, right, and they need to put a plate or a rod. So the quality of
Hmm.
rod, I mean, that
So,
come under the criteria. See how much they are going to spend on that.
yeah,
But
so that
obviously,
would be
they are doing
divided
free of
under
cost,
here.
right?
No, free of cost, like why I'm having this query only, that if it would be free of cost, but they would be having some limit, like we can spend 5 lakhs rupees on this particular surgery.
No,
And if the cost is,
see, I was telling you the same thing only. It depends upon one of the salary scale of the person,
hmm,
like on which criteria
salaries,
the employee comes. But
yeah,
suppose he suffered from cancer, right? And
yeah,
his treatment is for chemotherapy and all these things. So that is free of cost. I mean, government
okay,
cannot say no for that.
okay,
That's free,
okay,
right? But the standard and the room facility and the other facility that's really are different. I mean, it's always in the government, as you know about it, very.
okay.
The treatment you will get fully.
Basic facility they can provide, and that is up to you, like how much is uh, the facility is what you want to
If
extend, that you
some
can extend
managers,
on
I
that.
mean, some HR, they really have a very good relation with the ESIC people, and they recommend to a good hospital,
Hmm.
right, where the treatment is more good.
Hmm.
So this is the second part of other side of work. So we are not discussing
Um,
on that. I mean, everything
sure,
works on that. How
sure,
you
sure, sure.
approach and what is your level of approaching to the government
Hmm.
officers and all, and
Hmm.
how soon you can be shifted to a big hospital. So
Hmm.
obviously, once the ESI feel that there is no test, suppose the treatment is there, right? If I talk
Hmm.
about that somebody wants to go for some colored ultrasound, right? So yes, I do not have kind of a advanced machine, but
Hmm.
you are getting treatment over there. But for test, they will refer to some other
Some
hospital,
other
big
hospital.
hospital. You go there,
Hmm.
get test, get report, and
Hmm.
come back to the ESI.
Okay. So that cost
Get
would
the
be bear
treatment
by
from
the
there.
employee itself.
If they
Hmm.
feel that no, doctor feels now the condition is critical and we cannot take over, we don't have
Hmm.
facility and all these things, then it is
Hmm.
to be
Okay.
and but
So there would be any journal laws or regulations which all the companies has, they have to follow these particular rules and regulations formed by the government itself, or
yeah,
the
it's
factory
totally
act what
government.
you were saying.
It's totally from government side. I mean, you have to follow it.
Okay.
All the rules,
Okay.
all the amendments. As I said that earlier, you need to
Hmm.
admit the patient in the hospital,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
irrespective of the illness. I mean, maybe a serious one, but nowadays the government has given the facility like the patient is serious and need immediate attention. So we do not
Hmm.
waste time to take the patient to ESI, get the paperwork done, and then the treatment will start. Right, by that time the person will go off. So it's better. So government has changed that rule now. If the patient is serious, you can take the patient to a nearby hospital. But within 48 hours, you need to inform to the ESIC and you have to
Mm.
send someone over there. But nowadays, there is one more good news. Even if suppose the patient is very much critical and the family needs to be with him or her, then ESI will send one of his employee to go and done the paperwork. So that's what we are actually benefiting by the ESIC facility. It's a good facility nowadays.
And ma'am, if some employee get injured or like he's working on-site and there while traveling he got injured, he got accident, and due to that maybe he's driving his own personal vehicle. So in after returning from the office, he's going to his home during on-site work location only, and he got the accident. So that cost would be beared by the company, or it won't bear by the
No,
company.
it's bear by the company.
Bear by the company.
Yeah.
And if the company refuses to pay, so the employee has some legal action, has the power to take some legal action on the company itself.
You by the company will say no. I mean, see,
Hmm.
one thing here, it depends upon if it is the candidate is working with the company and if it is within the office, I mean, the
Hmm.
compensation need to be given by the employer, that
Hmm.
compensation, right? And the ESIC also, suppose the person is reached to the hospital but declared dead also in the
Hmm.
accident, then also ESI will also pay some. I mean, it's totally now depend upon the condition of the employee, what kind of work he was doing, and the age also dependent on family also. So it's upon the government medical officer also what compensation he decides about the employee. But normally in
Okay.
the accident, yes, we do say about the damage of the person's life, say about partial or half partial and temporary partial, fully partial, permanent. I mean, uh, whole life you cannot work, suppose, right?
Hmm.
Then
Hmm.
the companies see that the life has gone. Who will earn
Hmm.
for this person? Then we have compensation for that. I mean,
Okay.
the government medical officer will decide according to the casualty of the employee.
Because and if the companies are not having any structure of these policies at all, so how they.
You see, humanity, even if the ESIC is
Hmm.
paying from the office behalf, right? But still, employer do have that kind of pay. You can say the responsibility that they do need to pay to that kind of. Like if it happens, misfortunately, it happens that kind of a casualty, that person become permanent. The handicap, right?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it is very difficult for his family to survive. So we
Yeah.
normally give as per our, there is no law about it, but yes, it's
Yeah.
up to the employer how much he
Employer.
wants to pay. It's totally up
Because
to
it
him.
happened in my previous organization, it happened, the same case happened. So he was working on site and there he got some accident and his foot got fractured totally. So they have to cut it down the feet. Maybe I don't remember, maybe left feet was cut it off during that accident. But the company had not cleared a single penny on that.
So that is inhumanity. Like
Hmm.
I have a one, like I've seen one person, like he was hospitalized in ESIC and he was
Hmm.
worker class and he got his injury in hand by machine, right? His hand came under machine. The employee was admitted in the hospital. Doctor came. They saw they had given some first aid and all, but employer also visited. Now I'm telling you the difference.
No, different.
Employer,
That is
employer
the
also
employer.
risky to see the condition of that employee, and he found that doctors are not taking care as it has to be immediate
Hmm.
care.
Okay.
Then what he has done, he took that employee back to the private hospital, and
Okay.
all the expenses were borne by the employer. So this is actually when we talk about human relation. That's what
Yeah.
I mean. The big companies they never does this kind of thing, or the companies who are like really care about their employees.
Hmm.
Otherwise, they say, okay, ESIC is bearing the cost. I mean,
Hmm.
compensation, whatever is decided. Why should I give?
Hmm.
And if everyone thinks about that, see, today it happened with someone, right? Tomorrow, the other people, they also working on the machine and they think it can be
Hmm.
with one of them also. And they too have
Yes.
to go through this kind of thing. They feel insecure in their job. So would you like them to continue? They won't.
Hmm.
They won't continue with this job because there is no concern. There is no sense
Hmm.
of connectivity that's missing. So obviously, yes, you are working as per law and whatever the compensation is decided by the doctor, um, senior authority of ESIC, medical officer, okay, that is borne by the ESIC. So what is your part?
Hmm.
He, uh,
Employer has to
that
be
particular
there.
employee is your responsibility also because we talk like employees are our family member. Why should we
Hmm.
talk like this? Once we say employees are family member, where is the family feeling?
Hmm. Responsibility should be
So
there.
that time, I mean, that employer may be so much, stone-hearted or something like that. I see. I mean, I can't think of it.
Yeah, but it happened. So, but he is not able to continue any job now
But
because he.
even see a law what says law says in health
Hmm.
and safety policy if it happens partially say about permanent handicap, right?
Yeah.
Then the person is not able to do work. Right?
Yes.
Then employer as well as ESIC, I mean under
Hmm.
that government rule, we like to rehabilitate that employee. Maybe we open a work for that
But,
employee, maybe some kind of a small kirana shop or whatever he
hmm.
can do it easily. Of
Do
course,
it.
depending
Hmm.
upon the condition, physical and mental condition of that
Hmm.
employee, so that at least he can start earning money, right? Because he cannot do job. He's fully handicapped now. So this, at that time, that compensation is given by the employer also.
So that depends how much humanity that employer is having towards the employee.
Employer must give it.
Hmm.
I mean, this is a question of
Fine.
not one life. This is a question of his whole family. Suppose
Yes.
he is the
Yeah.
only earner in the family,
Hmm.
right? How they will survive?
It
And
would be very difficult.
in fact, tomorrow, your
Hmm.
rest of the employees, what they will feel about you. The moment they get a chance for some good environment company, they will leave. I mean, they will say that it can happen to anyone, and this is
Anyone. Yeah.
treatment they will get. So it's better they will say, okay, bye. Let's go to the other company who are taking care personally also. That's what we are talking about engagement activities, and we are talking about connectivity, bondings, and
Hmm.
different things. So that we feel for each other's um life because life is
Connection
full of
should be there.
surprises.
Yeah.
So this is
Connection.
about your health and
Health and
safety, which
safety.
carries different kind of health. When we talk about health, then it is your regular medical checkup, like blood donation camp, eye donation camp, and other medical regular checkups and all that you have to mention in your policy that you are doing it.
Okay.
And to prove that you are doing it, you have to make the registers the registers like and documents for the audit proof. When there is a plant audit,
Okay.
yes, they will look into that when was the last checkup of your employee and what kind of checkup you have got it done. So this is particular kind of way. I mean, you cannot say no to that. That you cannot provide this safe
Checkups.
health policy
Safety.
or health good practices in the organization. But once it's a safety, safety means life-threatening problem like material handling. If you do not give training to the employee, blue collar worker, how to handle the heavy materials and what precautions, why it's necessary to wear a helmet and where the heavy material needs to be put. I mean, there is a place for everything. That's what we say about Kaizen and Python. So these are all coming for this kind of policy, like safety policy, where there should be minimum of or the zero effect of accident, zero accident,
Minimizing the risk, minimizing the
minimizing
accidents
the
and
risk and minimizing the accidents and all this.
accidents. Got it.
So shall we move to the another
Yes.
policy?
Another policy I have done, that is employee communication policy.
Okay. So objective
So
of employee communication is what?
the objective is like communication would be either from the top management to their employees, and second communication would be from the employee to their employer side.
But this is
It
not.
would be from
This is a
the
ladder,
objective
right?
is to definite harm. The objective is to communicate some message, to pass on the message what one employee is feeling about the company or whatever. Like if top management has taken some action, they have to communicate the same to the rest of the
Swarnim,
employees of the company.
you
Sorry.
heard Swarnim, I want you to use a proper now jargons, professional words, communication need. The communication needs
Yes.
a quick and efficient information to the other person. Accurate, quick,
To pass
and
on the information.
communication. Because if you suppose if your boss said something to convey this message to your colleague, right? Because both of them are out right now. Your colleague came, but you forget to tell him, right?
Mm.
And when it is time to leave for the office, I mean for home, at 6 o'clock, you reminded, oh my God, I've forgotten. It was an important message. So, what kind of,
Mhm.
though you are a very good communicator, but forgetting a communication is not a solution for that. It should be quick. Once it is said that you need to convey this communication to the other person, the moment the person comes in, maybe within 5 or 10 minutes to convey that message. If you think that you need to leave and this person is still not in office, then leave a handwritten note on his desk.
Okay.
And nowadays we have the mobile pass on this message. So objective is quick, accurate, efficient communication within the organization and outside the organization. So you got it. Last
Yes.
time also we discussed the same thing.
No. Communication.
Communication.
Okay.
We
Communication.
had certain part in between where we
Uh,
discussed about
we were discussed. Yes, yes,
like
yes.
I
There
said
we
the
have.
communication. Why we do it? Suppose if I say that okay, uh, instead of 3 o'clock today the class is at 7 p.m. Right, and I
Mm.
forget to tell you, and you made some other plan.
Mm.
So my communication is okay that I do need to give you the information, but it is not quick, it is not efficient. Then how can you manage it at the last moment? Okay. So the communication, whenever it is within or outside the organization, that needs uh, a level of transmission that has to be quick, right? Quick in the sense, maybe are you for you that information may not be any value, right? Or any kind of an emergency. But the other two people who are communicating, the one who is giving the information and one who is receiving the information,
Hmm.
may have important value of that. But now this is missed. Say about
Hmm.
when we talk about webinar, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you talk about the webinar in the last moment,
Hmm.
right? Though it is very important topic, but I say okay, I don't know whether it is of good news or it is of use of one name. It's a choice topic. It can be anything.
Hmm.
So that communication, then you will say, oh, Radha ma'am, you would have told me, right? So this is lack of communication. So when we talk about communication policy, first is passing the information in a quick, efficient, and
And
accurate.
effective.
That is the simple objective. Then how it passes, I mean,
Hmm.
by hierarchy system, what technology use, all these things are the secondary matter.
Okay. Yes.
And
Objective would be
obviously,
to
in
pass on the
communication
information
policy,
to.
we always mention the communication should be transparent, clear,
Yeah.
so that the receiver should understand.
Yes.
Right? And I mean, now again, as much as you think that the communication between now, you come to that the employees are welcome for direct communication to management,
Mhm.
right?
This
Employees
would
are
be the
welcome to
channel how the
communicate.
company is practicing.
Yeah, employees are welcome to communicate in which manner? To email, to WhatsApp, or to other modes. Now, again, you have points to mention in as per yourself. But normally we keep it in mind that it should be valid point and it should be clear to all employees and it should be good enough to implement. If you cannot implement, I mean, there is no use of making
Yes.
those.
Yes.
So,
Policy.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's of no use then.
Mm.
So the communication policy here, it shows that in your organization, people are very much alert, quick, and they are good in very communication to pass on the information to the right person to the right
Right.
time, right, and right type of information. Some people, they give the information which is fake. They have the habit. I mean, they cook stories and they put on, oh, ऐसा होने वाला. Even if you see the YouTube also nowadays, we're getting so much of fake videos and all. But what they
Mm.
want, they just want name. I mean, okay,
Yes.
then what happens? It always says, कि, अरे इसकी बात कभी मत सुनना. If you have heard about a story, शेर आया,
Mm.
एक person
When actually share come तो किसी
रोज
ने माना नहीं.
करता था लोगों को फूल करता था लाइक
Mm.
please protect me there is a lion and all these things and one day actually when it happened nobody turns up so
Mm.
in the communication also what you communicate what is the impact of it matters to the people
Yes.
and people will take you your personality say about if it is not only a message but you want to give certain information right
Mm.
people make a personality as per your communication say about when we talk on phone neither you have seen me nor I have seen you, right but
Yes.
we had a telephonic communication
Mm.
after that you will make my picture in your thought I will make yours so that picture
Yes.
says about the personality of the person how the
Mm.
person is not by face by personality
That's personality.
that communication really impacts on the personality of it.
Personality.
The word use,
Mm.
the way you use. and the time you use. I mean, today you are communicating, but if you say me tomorrow, I mean, oh, Radha ma'am, I forgotten, and you add on something. So
mm,
the immediate impact is much, right? Suppose somebody said me, I'll tell you that there was some training offer, and he was asking how like how much you charge, Radha, because it's the first time, and we are going to start an association. So what I replied that I'm entering into a new family, right? And the family is going to take care of me. So that clears. I mean, now it's family. When we talk about family, family always gives us
yes. Mhm.
the way, the quick communication and the good sense of humor you have. That's what people prefer. So you can make out. I mean, now you can tell your employees that you practice transparent communication. Transparent means
Mm.
that management do not hide things,
And
right?
mm,
Or the senior people, they don't hide if there is like once we have discussed about change management of it can be say about 5 days to 6 days working or so, or merging with some other companies. So we need not to hide from employees. They are the members, right? They are contributing their efforts and time of their life. So we should be very much transparent. So this is happening with the company. They normally a good employer involve the employee,
in their
so,
decision.
so the decision will be in the hands of management. Nobody is
Yeah.
going to give the decision forward,
Yes.
and nobody wants. Only
Mm.
thing is that the feeling of involvement.
Yeah.
It feels that okay, yes, management really felt our work and involved
Mm.
us in the problem and asked about different opinions, right? So that gives a weightage. Yes, we belong to that
They are
family.
concerned about their other
That
employees.
you have to mention in your policy that we appreciate open and transparent
Mm.
communication. That
And
clears everything. Right? Open door policy. Open door policy comes under the communication. Open door means anytime anybody can come on without fear, without feeling insecure to discuss any any problem. That comes under your communication.
okay.
Open door. That means you need not to worry, you need not to feel insecure. Just come and discuss. So that kind of a trust level is built between the management and the employees. And obviously between the HR and the employees too, both ways.
Yeah.
So next one,
Policy, I had checked holiday policy.
holiday policy. Holiday policy is again by the like government rule, right? When we do
Yes.
the leave adjustment, we
Mm.
because in a company, as I said, there are people from different religions. There are Sikhs, Ithais, Bengalis, North Indians, and some others. So everyone have a different kind of a
Holiday.
religious
Festival.
practices and Muhammadans
Mm.
would like to have.
Mm.
So you have to see that how do you what percentage of employees say about there is a one Muhammadan and others are
Mm.
Bengali. So what kind of holidays you will be giving? And I mean, 1% can
Prioritizing the
always
Bengali
take.
holidays.
I mean, Muhammadan
Yes.
can always take a leave for that. I mean,
Mm.
that is not deductible because that's his religion, like
Mm.
Diwali and all. But total number of leaves as per government, yeah, your sir will be teaching you about that. Say about 26 Jan, 15th August, Raksha Bandhan, and some people they give Guru Nanak birthday. Some people they don't give. But instead of that, if there are a lot of people are from Christianity, then you prefer to give. your Christmas holiday,
Easter and
right? So that you do need to adjust it. Right now, we won't be in that. Next one.
uh, that day we were discussing about work and life balance policy. So
Yes.
I want to continue that.
Okay, that's wonderful. Because that's a policy which we practice, and that's a consulting from a HR to the another company also, and to his or her own company also, that how to give a good work-life balance in the organization. So obviously it comes with the objective is as simple: to make your employee happy and satisfied, and to make them a
Motivated.
balance of their life and their profession, right? That's it, not more than that. But now, what you practice in work-life balance, then you need to specifically start up with that. The company withholds the survey system, right, to know about the position of their balance of work or the personal life, at least once in a 6 months or once in a year. As per your plan,
Okay.
you have to prove that how much time you do it. I mean, once in a year is more than enough, right? If it is a lot of problem you are facing related to, I mean, leaves related to punctuality and relating to that people's emotional stress, then you can go twice. But you need
Okay.
to mention in your policy at least once in a year you conduct employee life survey, right?
Mhm.
But again, in a bullet or in a star, you can mention if it requires, then we conduct
We
second
can conduct twice a year.
twice a year. But mandatory, I mean, it's not a mandatory one. It's your choice. You are doing it to resolve your problems, to minimize your problems, to make the employee company's work culture better. So then you can mention it that yes, by the help of this survey, we can come
Hmm.
to know the employees, their level of their personal life and the level of their
Hmm.
professional life, so that we can make them to learn adjust in that. Right? That is your motto. I mean, if the person is
Yes.
not able to say, sometimes people they do not able to adjust multitasking, because
Hmm.
multitasking may be in company also, at home also, right? Because nowadays multitasking is much more important, and it is expected by all the employees.
For
At one time, you can do 4 works at least. But
yes.
you are here, one work is given to you extra. But now your whole attention is at home. That if I'll get late, my wife will scold me. They're so much scared about it,
Hmm. Yes.
right? So how it happens? Then I mean, again in engaging, in work-life balance, what activities throughout the year you do?
Hmm. We need to practice.
You need
Hmm.
to line up those and the
Hmm.
frequency of those activities.
Hmm.
That's very,
Okay.
first of all, you have to mention the objective. Secondly, you need to tell that in a year how much time, I mean, twice or once, you need to conduct this survey. And
Hmm.
what will be the survey? Survey point. On which basis? I mean, obviously, logically, you have to tell how you are doing that survey. On which basis you are telling the employer or telling to the
Okay.
management that this is the percentage the employees are more concerned about their family, or they are just loaded with their work, their industry. So they should be, I mean, there should be the balance. Or if it is already balanced, then I mean, you need not to worry about it. It's already going to. But again, yes, on which parameters you are doing work-life balance, you can mention those parameters.
Um,
It's your choice. If you want to make it, fine. If you don't want to make it, it's okay.
And how we judge like now this is the time to take a survey, or it's a predefined time that on in July month we would be having this survey.
See, it is a need base, one thing,
Mm.
right? You can definitely define time, right? Say about once I say about once in a year, right? So we normally does it before appraisal. You need to know why people are
Mm.
not performing,
Mm.
and mostly you can say when the problem occurs. Now you have to identify the kind of problem, the nature of problem,
Yes.
how
Mm.
frequent it occurs.
Mm.
I mean, after this identification, you need to know why. Why?
Yes.
That why itself will tell you the person is more concerned in family or more concerned in office. Say about, if I talk about the person is not performing well, right? May not be able to fulfill his or her target, right? But the employee is very well good in the work. That means he's not able to put up his effort and time in that.
Mm.
He's more into taking leave, absenteeism, punctuality issues, and all. So, or maybe burdened by some emotional problem of his life.
Yes.
But the employee is already good one. We are not saying that employee is not good. Employee is performing well. But the only thing is that now you have to identify this is the problem. You have identified one. Now
Mm.
you have to identify the factors why it is, why then solution. Solution again in work-life balance, which you need to give the either the counseling, either the engagement activity.
Okay.
And suppose if the person is, I mean, very much stressed, he has a lot of targets, he's performing, and but he's stressed. You know, every time in the morning when you say good morning, hello, he irritates. He never replies because you know he had a big
Mm.
fight at home from last 1 week. आज
Mm.
शॉपिंग पे जाना है आज मूवी पे जाना था you always give me excuses and all these things you know lot of things even the children they put on hang the parents you know for this कि हमें बाहर घुमाने नहीं ले जाते हो और हमें like मूवी नहीं दिखाते हो and my friends parents are like that so comparison and all this so that makes the person's life hard. Now, he'll put his these things. That means that the person is more burdened into the office. Give him, give him some relaxation. Give him some vacation. Give him some time to give to the family also.
Yes.
But in totality, you have to find out how many percent. I mean, it
Right.
depends upon like how much percent people. If they okay, about 90% people, not 90 is more, I mean, 70% people are giving time to office and 30 are giving time to home. So it's not also good. Personal life is as equally important for hobbies, for health, for friends, for society, for family, so many reasons. So you have to put it into your question.
And if we need to counsel someone, we need to find a group of people who would need to counsel, or it would be done through one to one only.
See, it's initially one to one because
Okay.
if you talk to me, why should I talk to
Other.
number of people
Mm.
for my problem? I don't want to disclose. I may sometimes not able to open up in a very first meeting. You may have 3 or 4 meetings with that particular entity. Then after that, the person will open up for that. Like, oh, I'm going through this kind of problem. Yeah, some people, you know, they don't want to share their personal life. So you should be very tactful. You should have that kind of a questions that what will, how you will ask so that the person will come out with the answer. so that we have certain clue. But we are not mentioning here in that
Hmm.
like at last.
How we what the measures we would be taking, that is need not to be mentioned here. Only how we are practicing it, actually.
Yes, you need to tell about like what activities you will be doing to make the. I mean, once you came to know like what percentage of employees'
Hmm.
personal life and official life,
Hmm.
right? Now
Hmm.
you have to act accordingly. Your engagement activities, your work-life balance activities will totally depend upon that level.
Okay.
Have you gone through this policy? Not yet.
No, no, that is not there in that.
Yeah, I mean, see, you have to write the subject, right?
Yes.
Policy name, objective.
Hmm.
Then you need to tell about on what parameters you will say, because once we do survey, you know that survey people they have the question, on that basis they calculate, right? So you should
Yes.
also have that survey that the particular employee A and the particular employee B, C, D, E, H, to Z, right? How many, how many say about all 26 alphabets? How many say about if we take about there are about 22 alphabets are into their indulge into their official life, right? That means their personal life is suffering, and you need to balance.
Yes.
So your work-life balance activities, which will be converted into engagement, right? Engagement activities will be based
On that.
that
Yes.
the person will give time to family. Or if you
Family
find
also.
out of 26, there are about 18 people are giving time to family and they are not bothered about, they are just working 9 to 5. They have just mentality, right? They don't bother about like organizational goals. They don't bother about the company's growth. They don't bother about other things to work in time. So their main motto is to get salary. That's it, and
Salaries.
to spend with the family. So here now you
Yes.
drag them to the work hours. Then you should. I mean, now it is enough that you are putting more time into your family. Now come down
Family
to
and
work.
but the employees are coming, they are punctual also. Then how we would be identified?
That's what I said.
If that employee,
The parameters of question you're deciding.
hmm,
Like
hmm,
once we have decided gender, age,
yes,
the
yes.
responsibility is right. How
Okay.
much
So
time?
that depend upon the survey questions only.
Yeah, that will make the graph.
Hmm.
Once you do it in
Yeah. Okay.
Excel and you feel the feed the data, do that. I mean,
Hmm.
you can do one thing. You can
Hmm.
take your relatives, your friends, put questions to them, get an answer, enter into Excel sheet, and the Excel
Hmm.
sheet will give you the graph,
Yeah. Yes. That will be.
right? Then you
Okay.
will see how many people of your company, I mean, putting more time to your, or even if the people are less, then you can calculate how many people are, I mean, say about 50 or 100, the
Hmm.
calculation is easy. But
Hmm.
normally we do the graph, I mean, we put it into the Excel and come out with the result.
Hmm.
So again, I mean, your action will be accordingly.
Yes. Whatever results we get from that graph, we have to arrange the that engagement activity accordingly.
Yes. Say if they are into they are missing their family, they are missing their hobbies, then arrange some sports, like make why if you talk about some good companies, they are having the sports club, they are having the library facilities, they are having the swimming pool, they are having the cafeteria, right? So why companies providing whatever they are missing outside, they enjoy within the same
Hmm.
premises.
Within the company, yes.
Right. They
This
have
is
the
the
yoga
main
session
purpose.
for the morning hour.
Hmm. Yes.
So this is just that the employer wants that the people who are missing, who are not able to take out time from the office, they can enjoy that activity here. That's why we have certain competitions, certain sports programs, and family fun day, so that we can invite their families also. We can have certain events related to craft. I mean, some people are very creative, so we can arrange that kind of. I mean, there is a lot of functions today.
Activities.
Maybe on, say, right now from uh, Diwali, Christmas, New Year, other festivals, and even time to time on celebration. So accordingly, your engagement list will be ready. You should know what kind of engagement activities you require and how frequent you require. That's more important. The problem is very frequent and more, then you need to focus on the specific problem and focus on that kind of engagement activity. Suppose everything is okay, punctuality is there, discipline is there, and attendance system is good. But if you feel that people are jealous, people are not concerned about each other, then
Each other. Yeah.
go on the team building activities, some outbound training. Take them out for 2 3 days, make them together, let them interact, let them play together. You know that because all the time they are busy with interaction about work, targets, and the completion of work and all. So this kind of activities, you have to find out now what is the problem, identified it, and how to do that. So just please, hello, I'll just speak to you. Good afternoon. जस्ट प्लीज एक काम करते हैं, मैं अभी एचआर की ट्रेनिंग मेरी सेशन में हूँ, इसलिए मैंने फोन काटा। मैं एक घंटे की बात करूँ आपको कॉल? श्योर श्योर, मैं कॉल करती हूँ। So, being an HR, you understood how to identify the like
Problem.
problems within the organization. Basically, it arises within the organization due to different working procedures, different kind of responsibilities. Like maybe sometime it is overburdened, overstressed. Sometimes you're not capable, but it is expected a lot from you, right? So being an employee, like why we say about open door, right? Being an employee, you should approach to your seniors that I feel that I'm unable to do this. Say about in HR once we say about there is recruitment, there is training, there is compensation and all, and there's other things. Then uh, yeah, Fatika, afternoon. अभी अभी ना जसप्रीत का फोन आया था, पहले तो मैंने काट दिया, फिर दूसरी बार उसने कर लिया। मैं ना सेशन ले रही हूँ, तो मैं एक घंटे के बाद, ठीक है, मैं एक घंटे के बाद करती हूँ। So now it is very much clear, like open door says that you can always tell to your seniors that maybe you are not
You are facing some problem.
able enough to work on that particular job profile. Right? Say about it is expected 4 or 5 jobs to you, right? But you are capable in 3. One part you
Yes.
cannot do it even after getting the training and all, or you are not interested into that. So you request your senior that you can utilize my capability in certain other jobs. So that means that employee is good enough to go and to speak about self. That's again we are onto the communication. So let's come back to the work-life balance.
Mm.
I mean, again, every time if you're in a problem, you think about that it is expected by me in the performance. I'm unable to do that. So under stress and under problems, under fear, no use. Better to go and tell. I'm unable to do salary and wages. I'm good in recruitment. So why don't you give me what? I mean, why?
Interesting.
When we talk about
Mm.
the HR personality, HR recognize the potential of an employee, where the employee is good, on which
Mm.
skills the employee is good, and that kind of job responsibilities are assigned. Right? That can be in rotational. We can do that.
Yes.
When there's no harm.
Yeah.
Now, if the person is into the particular job where the person is at ease and confident and perform good results, so it's give a happiness. He feel confident. So give that kind of support to that. So it means that you are managing his professional life.
Mm. So utilizing their
Now you have
efficiency
to
in
write
the
in
the
bullet points or the one-liner sentence that we practice work-life balance. We uh, uh, we really promote our employees into the skills they are right. So
Mm.
you have to find out those kind of things. You have to identify as I'm saying identify that need observation, that needs communication. Right? Once you
Yeah.
observe the present employees, you communicate with the employees, you get to know more about them. समटाइम्स मुझे नहीं मालूम था मेरे स्टूडेंट्स के साथ क्या क्या होती हैं लाइक मैं जानती हूँ कि उन्होंने एचआर किया ये है बट वंस दे पुट इट इनटू द लिंक्डइन प्रोफाइल yesterday somebody has given me the to approach to connect with the LinkedIn profile. When I accepted, I came to know that this young girl is having this quality also. I was very surprised. She never told me. So
Mm.
more you communicate, the more you connect with your employees, you will come to know about their strengths,
Yes.
know about their weaknesses. Accordingly, you give them the job. That will be
Mm.
good. I mean, they will be happy and your company will grow. I mean, you give the wrong job to the wrong person, then right job to the wrong person, and it won't work at all. So
To
you,
making 100% of the employee.
yes, suppose I come to you. I say I'm
Mm.
good in delivering training, but training is never in my job profile. But okay, you assure me if something comes up, I'll give you a chance. Right. Then there was some meeting, and you called me and you said that Radha, you need to address senior management, our clients, and all. Take it up as an anchor. Right. You gave me a chance to do that. I performed well. You said, now it's good. Now I can give you that kind of a profile where you can have a rotation of the job or you can employ another person so that, I mean, now you are utilizing my maximum skill.
Mm. Maximum efficiency. Yeah.
Utilize is maximum in the employee
Yes.
that potential.
Yes.
Until unless you do not speak, you do not communicate, you do not come to know how do you
Mm.
utilize.
Yes.
which आप फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट में यूटिलाइज करोगे मेरी सर्विसेज तो जो एम्प्लॉयज एंड ऑल
To know to identify definitely effective communication.
that requires that requires total I mean time to time communication time to time
Mm.
observation and
Mm.
even sometimes we practice the rotation of jobs so that you can see
Mm.
right where the
Mm. That
performance
is,
where the
employee is better in it.
level is high in which area the
Yeah.
performance level is high
Mm.
that can be done.
So rotational, that rotational of jobs would be, is there,
We did
we
it
need to identify any
the
policy?
recruitment, not here.
Sorry?
We'll do it when
Okay, not yet.
the recruitment.
Okay. Okay, okay.
I mean,
There is a recruitment policy also.
yes, we have. There are a lot of recruitment policies. We discussed that too.
Okay. So we'll discuss that recruitment policy today.
Not now.
Not okay.
You can read out the titles which you received. We can have some more discussion or which you received from the mail,
Okay.
because I have not
Grievance policy. Yeah, I was reading about grievance policy. I've not gone through it, the details of
which policy.
grievance policy.
Grievance policy is a game into the IR.
Okay.
Grievances are taken care at the time
Hmm.
of when there is a problem in the company, right?
Hmm.
Now the problem
Hmm.
is uh, uh, stealing something, threatening to someone,
Okay.
abusing to someone, making a loss to company property. There are so many reasons, or sexual harassment. So,
So in grievance policy, we have to mention like what all accidents or what all
sometimes it happens with the
mm,
personal problems also, right? So, okay, I'll give you a case, right? Suppose uh,
mm,
manager A,
mm,
uh, who joined your company 3 years back, performing wonderfully. You were very
mm,
much satisfied. Being an HR, you were just looking about, and he is heading the department.
mm,
3 months back, a girl joined in the same department, right?
mm.
But junior to him,
Okay.
and but once you start observing, you start feeling that the person performance is falling down. He's not able to concentrate, not focus, and so you found that there's something wrong. Now, being an HR, how do you take up?
After joining that new employee, if the performance is going down, then there would be something between both of them. Like he is more focusing on that particular new joinee. He's not focusing on his work, what he is actually
I mean,
doing earlier.
gender game.
It would be. That is the reason, or maybe they both had joined from a particular company. There they have some past in the company, in their previous company, which is bothering him
Suppose
earlier when she was not there.
suppose I am that person. How do you do the counseling? I
Hmm.
mean, there are the counseling rules which I'll tell you. But initially, when you said about that counseling, so this immediately came into my mind. Okay, this is actually a real case study.
Okay. You need to counsel with that person A only, who was
So I'm that
performing good
person.
earlier and now. Hmm.
I'm that
Okay.
person. Say about my name is Mahesh. So how do you treat me?
Uh, Okay. So it would be through one-to-one counseling only. I need to call you in my cabin and or maybe at the common area where we need to discuss about the thing. So initially we'll start by motivating the employee. Like I have seen the performance from past 3 months. It was very good. Whatever management is expecting, you are doing more than that even. But now from past 1 month, we are observing, or like the performance is not that up to the mark. So what is the gap? Why is there any issue? Is there any issue in your personal life through which you are not able to focus on your work? How you are performing earlier, and now what the performance is, showing in this current month. There is a gap. So we need to check.
But this is not motivation. This is see, because you are right now you do not know the reason about the
Hmm.
downfall of the performance. So you um, invited me to have a meeting, right? How do you start up with that?
Okay. So hi Mahesh, कैसे चल रहा है सब? How are you doing in your job?
ठीक है,
Uh, ठीक है, it's not okay. It's not good. You're not happy.
ठीक है, जो भी काम होता है टाइम पे हो रहा है, it's all good.
Not good?
It's good. It's okay.
It's good.
It's
Okay. But
okay.
why your voice is so low? You're not feeling
कुछ
motivated
नहीं
here?
मैम
What
ठीक है
happened?
ठीक है I'm as usual. मैम
But
चलो
see,
I have certain work so
अरे काम हो जाएगा 2 मिनट बैठो. वी नीड टू डिस्कस अबाउट द परफॉर्मेंस. बहुत अच्छा तुम्हारे लिए कमेंट आ रहा था मैनेजमेंट से. बट और डिस्कस करते हैं अबाउट योर सो दैट परफॉर्मेंस नेक्स्ट जो भी परफॉर्मेंस अप्रेजल होगा वो उसी सबके बेसिस पे होता है. और थोड़ा सा डिस्कस करना है. लेट्स सी हाउ द परफॉर्मेंस यू हैड गिवन सो दैट
नहीं
आगे अप्रेजल में उसके लिए.
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है लाइक आई एम वर्किंग प्रॉपरली as you know I'm heading so there are a lot of stress no doubt but
हाँ स्ट्रेस तो होता है. तो टेल मी इफ यू आर overburdened about your work, let me know. We'll have some
ma'am
area.
it's okay thank you we'll have tea next time thank you ma'am bye bye so this is my first now I will not open up now do not force
Yes. Okay.
just go go
But we know that there is something
and then
which is not able to
there
open.
are different type of people somebody will come upon ma'am you know I am going
Hmm.
through such problem please help me one time
Hmm.
some people they say okay बुलाने पर invite करने पर
Hmm.
yes ma'am there is certain problem but if you assure me confidentiality I can speak to you that's the second kind of
Hmm.
people the third kind of people you dig that
Hmm.
but they don't open it so I mean
In the first
in the
conversation.
very first instance they are not just opened up you need
Hmm.
to meet them twice thrice number of
Hmm.
times you have to take them into the confidence and you have to assure them about their problem will be solved and due to this problem how the environment is getting affected right so you have to take him in faith so after 2 days again महेश चलो कॉफी पीते हैं काम तो होता ही है हम सब बिजी रहते हैं Let's ठीक है मैम मैं आधे घंटे में आ रहा हूँ नहीं अभी आ जाओ ठीक है then you again start up with something new क्या चल रहा है how the performance of the new joiners and targets कैसे हो रहे हैं and how is everyone at home I mean very slow questions and all this तो उसी मेरे को भी कुछ लग रहा है लाइक आप कुछ टेंशन में चल रहे हो क्या परफॉर्मेंस करते थे यार यू आर वेरी सुपरस्टार so now that is kind of pathetic but anyhow don't worry everything will be all right soon let him go again do not ask him
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
again after 3 days have another meeting
Okay.
now, to those kind of people we may not dig up forcefully slowly and all
Yes.
hey Mahesh you're just like my brother right I respect you I'm really finding there's something bothering you why don't you come up yeah let's share you can trust me you can rely on me then he'll have certain yes ma'am you are right I'm going through some mental tension this happened to me now you'll be shocked to know what I'm going to tell वो नई लड़की आपने रखी है ना स्वर्णिम तो उसको मैंने प्रपोज कर दिया अब उसने तो मुझे चपत्ती लगा दी बिल्कुल स्ट्रेट अवे मना कर दिया and now this is kind of a emotional जहाँ पे because he was a good performer there was nothing bad with the performance now you have to dig out the things कि जब वो लड़की आई सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम आनी you were right at the moment but हमें initially stage देखनी थी we cannot attack on it यार जब से वो लड़की आई है तब से तुम्हारी प्रॉब्लम शुरू हो गई है right
Yes.
this is bad of attitude
The
obviously
approach we need to take against that is important. How we are approaching it.
उस समय तो वो बिल्कुल मना कर देते ना लेकिन आज वो is coming on the line yeah ma'am अरे आपको पता है लाइक
problems.
पार्टनर फॉर मी तो आई रियली लाइक हर मैंने उसको प्रपोज किया तो that was her reaction so that I felt very bad insulting. Then now your counseling start once again. Emotion. People come, people go. You are so good. You get more better girls, more good things in life, all these things. Give some time to yourself. Not ठीक है एक दो दिन बात करी and all these things. Now, what major decision you will take in that?
So that time I can shuffle the team members.
They are into the same department.
Yeah, maybe he is in the same department. He is a team lead. If there are two team leads, we can shuffle the team members.
See, uh, if I and you both are in same company, we are not sitting on our chairs all the time. We move, we take files, we communicate, we phone each other, we pass on the information, we remain in front of eyes. So this thing will not go, even by shuffling. Now you have to take it if you have another brand, first and foremost, distance, physical distance, if it is possible. If it is
Okay,
not
we can switch on the seats. We can switch on the seats as well.
जाते तो
If they are
देखेंगे
sitting with,
आते जाते
huh?
देखेंगे कभी तो सामना होगा मिलेंगे
So maybe like that employee
मिलेंगे
A.
टाइम में मिलेंगे in same department having the same kind of because he is the head maybe the reporting boss बात होगी हाँ here we are talking about किसी के आप अगर ऐसा कुछ है आपके पास कोई option कि there is some other branch in Delhi or somewhere else so just give that
But
man
rather than we should counsel A,
we do if
it
we
is
don't have
better
a
to
plan
counsel.
देखो वो तो करेंगे ही वो तो हमने उसके जाने के बाद भी करना है बट हम उसको कुछ टाइम के लिए कि कहते हैं ना आंखों से दूर दिल से दूर इस कहा तो हम उस पर पहले वर्क करेंगे कि कुछ टाइम के लिए नॉट फॉर ऑलवेज हमेशा के लिए उसको अलग नहीं कर रहे हैं say about 6 months or a year you transfer that person to some other क्या है जो चीज सामने ही नहीं है उसके बारे में आप सोच सोच के एक दिन थक जाओगे और छोड़ दोगे अभी प्रॉब्लम क्या है रोज आपके सामने है मिठाई सामने आप खा नहीं सकते दैट इज अ बिग प्रॉब्लम जब आपने वहां से मिठाई की दुकान ही हटा दी खाओगे क्या
But ऐसा कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है कंपनी there is only one office in the
yes
company
we
then
can change the department we can change the job role of the newcomer right
so it is again important if we are hiring two persons from the same organization we need to check the background as well if they are working in the same department if we are hiring two persons like these two persons are hired at the
these are
same
the
time
ongoing processes you have to deal with the counseling also so
yeah.
this is the best alternate I mean I'm talking about when there is a one senior I'll tell you a story I don't know no I won't tell you here because this is something confidential I'll speak on phone or are you joining us again on Sunday on Posh
Okay but at the same time 11
no this time we are putting up in the evening
evening okay sure
somewhere at 4 5 I don't know let them
uh,
decide a lot of people approached me so I said okay let me go once again so I'll tell you
okay.
about that from that one of the participant I got a call yesterday and he shared some posh problem of his
Okay.
colleague and I was shocked to know that was between an HR manager and a female was from the shop floor
Okay.
long I mean blunder mistakes as well as what I say that there's a lot of status difference. anyhow we'll be discussing that point also. So I
Mm,
mean, where we were talking about is counseling. So
mm,
better we see that if it happens in a severe manner or it is affecting both the parties, then we try to take out one person out of it.
mm. Okay.
We try to
But
do.
that other girl is not affecting. She is performing very well. After like in for this whole discussion with the A, we have taken almost a month to had the final discussion to take out the cost from him. And in the meanwhile, we find that the girl is performing really very well.
Girl is
Nothing is there
performing.
from her.
Girl is
Girl is
performing.
performing well.
Uh,
She is performing well because nothing is there from her side.
because she
So we
she's
need
put
not to
in her
counsel the
mind that
girl.
she don't want that relationship, right?
Yeah, yes.
She's very much clear.
Mm.
So we cannot force. I mean, until unless it
Huh.
is
So
very.
counseling need not to be done with the other girl as well. It has to be done with the employee only.
So that's what we took an initiative
Need
to
to check.
remove that man from there, from that eyesight.
Yes, yes,
That is the first and foremost action we should do it, right? If we
yeah,
have an
yes.
option to shift him to some other place or to
Hmm.
some other department or some other plant, or if it is not, then yes, we give him certain more
Counseling.
targets, certain more high responsibility where his mind will be occupied. Now here,
Hmm.
because they are one to one in front of each other, their sitting arrangement may be changed. That is the last option, and time to time counseling.
Counseling.
That is always required. That's always required.
So in grievance part, is there any list of actions, a list of activities that comes under the grievance only, or it's a journal practice?
See, right now we cannot take up into the disciplinary because he just approached, right? He did not take up any action which is against the
The girl.
yeah, code of conduct, I would like to say,
Hmm.
the right
Okay.
language and the business
Okay.
work ethics, or the person who comes under POSH, right? Nor he sent some messages, not
Hmm.
sent some kind of a pornography, not followed her, not
Hmm.
invited her. He just simply said that I like you and I'm thinking like this. So simple, just very, kind of a statement, small statement. If it is accepted, fine enough. Nowadays, companies have a policy if two people get married in the same organization, right? So this is recruitment policy. One needs to leave the job. That is your choice. Say about Mahesh and that girl get married,
Hmm.
right? And your company has a policy because you do not want that husband wife will work under one place because certain reasons that we will discuss in recruitment. Uh, so one of them have to leave the job. That's
Yes. So that is that depend upon company to company only. Not all
normally
companies
we
are practicing
practice.
the same.
Normally we practice to avoid certain factors like about, as I said, about emotional. Suppose
Um,
uh, I mean they are newly married, so their signals will spoil the environment,
mm,
or they don't have good interaction after marriage. They came to know that something wrong has happened. They fight.
mm,
That
mm,
also spoil environment.
mm.
Simultaneously, both the reason will spoil the
Both.
environment,
Mm,
isn't
yes.
it? And suppose it become once you emotionally involved, you become possessive. If your wife talks to someone who's a batchmate,
Mm,
to the colleague or so,
mm,
you take the objection, or
mm,
if he speaks, the wife will do that.
mm, yes.
So
Right.
after office
It's
एक
a natural phenomena of
हाँ,
human beings,
तो
so it's
आपका
better
ऑफिस
to make
एक
them
ना
know.
कबड्डी का मैदान बन जाएगा, अखाड़ा बन जाएगा जहाँ पे रोज इस तरीके की लड़ाई होती है. And also avoid all that, so we better say no. That's what we always avoid, these kind of things where the negative impact is much more rather than.
much more.
नहीं तो वो लव मैरिज की लहर चल पड़ेगी. आपकी एक पॉलिसी लव मैरिज की बनानी पड़ेगी आपको. तो उसको अवॉइड करना है हमने यहाँ पे. What next?
Next, you decide, ma'am. I have written down these 4 5 policies.
Read out the names of the policy I have sent to you. It's open to you.
Okay. Just let me know.
Yes.
Compensation policy.
अरे यार अभी रहने दो.
Okay.
I'm giving.
Okay. Conflicts of internet. Okay. Internet policy. वो भी मैं कर लूँगी. Corporate security policy.
Okay.
Corporate security policy.
You one
Discipline
more.
policy. Okay. Discipline policy.
Hey, come on, baby, wait.
Equal employment opportunity policy that I had read. So it's very simple. Like we have to.
Uh, can you read out this?
Code of conduct policy. Okay.
Is okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
So code of conduct policy we mention in our employee notebook. It is one of the essential policies in the organization. Now, when we say about code of conduct, it includes so many things about your behavior, about discipline, right? You can make separate also, but in code of conduct, you have to choose those policies has to be mentioned in the code of conduct or not. Say about time policy, attendance policy, uniform policy, right? These shows your code of conduct, right? Your discipline, how organized you are. So every organization has an important document which is called code of conduct. So I'm coming on the point. Prepared and approved by HR department. This I made it. You can see how I made table of content, right? Purpose or objective, scope, then it is all over the factory. If you have plants, to all the plants. If you have another branches, to all the branches, right? Process, how do you make it up? How do you carry? For managers, supervisors, responsibility, how to maintain this policy. Like it is not only HR's duty, it is the supervisors and managers' duty also to carry on that their team should show good code of conduct. Right? Then personal conduct, employee responsibilities, personal behavior, then use of equipment, because we normally say that it is not our property. अगर टूटता भी है तो क्या है? Loss होता भी है तो it's not my pocket loss, right?
Okay.
If you have that feeling, employees that feeling, do you think that employee can work for betterment of your company? Employee honest? No. So employee honest policy we keep into that, right? Then privacy and use of personal and official information,
information.
right? Records management. What kind of records you manage? Conflict, information technology, and financial interest. So few things which I have taken up, I'm telling you more. Smoking, right? Alcohol,
Yeah.
visitor,
Mm.
like relatives and close friends, client boundaries, like you are not going to make friendship to the client or any kind of a relationship.
Mm.
Compliance
Okay.
with lawful instruction, मतलब जो भी मैनेज मैंडेटरी कंप्लाइंसेस है उनको फॉलो करो. बुलिंग नहीं करना, न्यू जॉइनर्स को तंग नहीं करना, डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं करना, राइट, हैरेस
Yeah.
नहीं करना, रिलीजियस और रेशियल आपको कोई भी कमेंट पास नहीं करना
Um,
और उसको लेके
okay.
बायस नहीं होना.
Mm.
ऑक्यूपेशनल सेफ्टी और हेल्थ का ध्यान रखना है. कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी की डिमांड रखनी है, एम्प्लॉय से एक्सपेक्टेशंस रखनी है.
Mm.
सस्पेंशन पॉलिसी बनानी है, कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट के अंदर होगा. ठीक है.
Okay.
सर्विस सर्टिफिकेट, यानी कि इट शुड बी प्रैक्टिस व्हेन यू आर एनी
Mm.
एम्प्लॉय लीव, he or she must get the relieving pattern, right?
Okay.
रिटायरमेंट की एलिजिबिलिटी क्राइटेरिया मेंशन करनी है, ग्रीवियंस
Okay.
हैंडल करने हैं, राइट, आपका एक्शन मेंटेन करना है कैसे. So now you can see that I had given a lot of these things, right? You have to go through that. I'll share one more document with you. This is what I made for some company. So this is company, right? I may not share, but I can tell you about how to go about that, like dress code. आपकी कंपनी का ड्रेस कोड क्या है? Like if we
Mm.
talk about hotel industry, they have the dress code. Airport, they have the dress code. Hospitals, they have the dress code. Institutions, they have the dress code. आप अगर बीपीओ में काम कर रहे हैं, आप मिनी स्कर्ट डाल के जा सकते हैं, टाइट्स डाल के जा सकते हैं. लेकिन अगर आप ऑटोमोबाइल या मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में ऐसे कपड़े डाल के जाएंगे, इट विल बी अगेंस्ट कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट एज पर देयर पॉलिसी, राइट. आप सिगरेट पीते हैं, ठीक है, fine. BPO, fine. If you are taking beer, BPO is okay. Hotel industry, okay. Hospital industry is against their code of conduct. So every company has certain code of conduct policy related to discipline and what is expected in terms of their regular behavior, right? And their behavior of supervisor, as I mentioned. Second, the personal behavior. Like say about if we talk about you are at the post where you have company's major confidential information. Suppose if you leak a tender rate, right, to the competitor, and the competitor will pay you 10,000, 50,000, whatever it is, or for any reason they pay you like a reward or a bribe. So I must say it's not a reward, it's a bribe.
Mm.
If you take a bribe, company have this policy that employees who take a bribe is come under the code of conduct. So action against him or her will be taken under the
As per the
disciplinary
law.
committee. Right. Some people have that habit of absenteeism
Mm.
without any information, without prior approval of approved of their leaves. They take a off and they don't inform to HR leader to the senior. So that comes under the code of conduct. Once in emergency is okay, but suppose in emergency you need to go. But nowadays when we say that our technology is too fast, we cannot say that we cannot inform you. Mobiles are there, emails are there, your friends are there, inform someone, right? On your behalf, somebody will tell to the company. Right? So there are so many factors, like records management. If you work, but it's your duty to maintain records, register when you release your company or when you relocate or transfer somewhere else, then you need to give the records, right? But here you are not keeping the record well. That will also come under the complaint. Right? Then conflict of interest, as I said, that your interest and the company interest, both the goals conflict. Today you are working with your company, tomorrow you join their competitor.
Competitors.
Right? So this gifts and hospitality, bribe, these all will come under this. Financial interest to take money from the outsider of the company, right? Acceptance of any other commissions and benefits that will. I mean, the code of conduct have to be prepared at the time of normally when we make the standing order.
Okay.
That we need to mention. But if it is not mentioned at the time, you can make it at any time. You can start up with 5, 6, add on 3, 4, like how and when it requires more. And many people join your organization, so that requires more control, more discipline. Add on something more. So 5 plus makes 3 more, 8, 8 plus 2 again, 2 again after 2, 3 months, make it 10. If you feel that that's required and this is necessary, make it immediately. Mention immediately. So this is one. I'll show you the another one also. It is the same shared by me. Maria, I'll share on email.
Okay.
वो open करके रखना होता है ना. So this is all about the manual. What you think we can have, like the moment you think any topic, you just text me. कि मैम ये भी हो सकता है. तो maximum I have covered. ये मेन थी हमारी जो हम स्टार्टिंग में कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट डालते हैं. I mean, we fix up certain rules, certain rewards, certain punishments, and how to control the total discipline of organization, which comes under the punishment. Punishment now
Okay.
under the disciplinary committee. It can be suspension, it can be termination of service, it can be FIR lodged towards the employee, it can be say about any fine. So it totally depends upon what actually what problem you have done to the company, right? So everything to be controlled by the disciplinary committee or authority who looks after this thing. I mean, the case comes to HR, the HR again, small grievances HR department handles, and if there is no committee, I mean, then you need to do that. But I mean, when you have a lot of employees, you need to make a disciplinary committee into the organization where these kind of cases will be held on. When they listen, they send a complaint, then they have the, I mean, communication with the employees. They ask, they find out whether the like person is genuine or not, or it is just a like fake complaint, right? Then sometimes, people are so jealous. They say that, oh, one of my colleague had a bribe from my customer, right? Or my colleague had leaked out this confidential information, but I must have proof to that, like
That
whether it
has to
really
be.
happened or not. So this committee will now act on that as per law, as per your industrial law, right? Then it will come to the final recommendation. Now this is the punishment. It is fine truth that the person has to pay bribe from the customer or from the vendor, or accepted gift or accepted money, or maybe shared the company important information which made the company of loss. So it can be anything. This is one thing. And personal behavior, I mean, as I said about, to breaking the company's rules, regulation, like timing rules, attendance rules, and how to treat other employees, gender sensitization. I mean, how do you respect female candidates? So many things that you have to mention in code of conduct. And
Code of conduct.
whenever any employee new joining comes, you must tell him this is the code of conduct, and you are expected to work under these norms, under these so
So
that
these code of conducts are under the standing order. It is not under
you
the
have to
HR
mention.
policy
I mean,
form.
sometimes what happens that when I started my business, right? I registered my organization under the your government rules, right, in the DC office. So I need to make standing orders for my organization that for my employees, I am giving these facilities, these rights, these are authorities, and these are expected by them. And if they do wrong, they will be punished for this thing, right? All these things we have to mention into the standing order. Suppose
Yes.
the standing order, I mentioned I punish my employees when they do this kind of act,
Activity.
right?
Yes.
Okay, uh, then you can punish. If you have not mentioned in your standing order that you will punish an employee for the bribe or taking a gift, then you cannot. So that should be mentioned into your standing order as per law.
No, this is the policy. Code of conduct is the policy. Or
It's a
like
policy.
I'm not. It's a policy.
It's a
So
policy.
how we would be putting it in
It's
the
a
standing
policy
order?
of it's a policy of a combination of different small policies
Different small policies.
of
Yes. This is
behavior,
what I mean.
rules, regulation. I said attendance,
In journal practice, but
punctuality,
need to be taken care.
okay, taking leave without rules, not
Hmm.
coming in uniform, right?
Hmm.
Threatening to other people, not keeping the office secret, right?
Hmm.
Confidentiality, you are not maintaining, right? You are showing file to
So,
somebody else. You are sending
hmm.
the mail to forwarding mail to some of
Yes.
your competitor.
Okay.
Suppose
Okay.
you have filed a tender. You know the amount of tender, right?
Hmm.
Your competitor
Yes.
knows that Swarnim does this work.
Hmm.
I'll call
Therefore,
you at home at night or 10. I'll give you bribe
hmm.
that on certain amount I'll give you 10%. You tell me tell your company's tender rate.
Hmm.
You say that it's a good deal. मेरा क्या जाता है मुझे क्या किसी को पता चलेगा मैं बता देती हूँ कोई बात नहीं फिर आपने अपनी कंपनी की कॉन्फिडेंशियल बिजनेस इंफॉर्मेशन
Information.
लीक
Sure.
that will be punishable. So you have to
So this.
mention in code of
Hmm.
conduct कि किस किस चीज के अंदर हम अपने एम्प्लॉयज को पनिश कर सकते हैं and it is expected by them to follow those rules.
Hmm.
This
So
is
in a small organizations where they are not having these HR policy, they are having just the code of conduct. manual देते
They
हैं.
don't make separate, right? But normally we make it separate to make them understand. But code of
Understand.
conduct is means कि हम जो गवर्नमेंट रूल को बता रहे हैं, गवर्नमेंट को बता रहे हैं कि हमारी कंपनी में अगर कोई ऐसा केस हो जाता है तो हम एम्प्लॉय को
Okay.
पनिशेबल करते हैं, ठीक है, उसके अगेंस्ट हम कमेटी में कंप्लेन देते हैं. नहीं तो क्या होगा, कल को वो एम्प्लॉय लेबर कोर्ट में जाएगा, आपके अगेंस्ट कर देगा, मैंने तो ब्राइब ली नहीं, मैंने गिफ्ट लिया नहीं. अगर गिफ्ट लिया भी दिवाली गिफ्ट पे तो व्हाट्स हार्म इन दैट, बट योर स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर शोज कि मैं अपने एम्प्लॉयज को दिवाली गिफ्ट नहीं देने की इजाजत देता हूँ.
But he can say on a personal note, we are giving me.
दिवाली गिफ्ट आप नहीं एक्सेप्ट कर सकते थे, कंपनी गेट से अंदर ही नहीं अलाउड होता था वेंडर्स को, राइट? तो क्या होता था, फोन पे एक घर का एड्रेस जाता था, घर पे हो ठीक है, बट एक्सेप्टिंग एट ए ऑफिस प्रेमाइसेस, एम्प्लॉय भी तो तेज है ना, वो बार से बार घर का एड्रेस दे देता था. बट दिस इज आल्सो नॉट फेयर. आई मीन दिस इज आल्सो अगेन इफ यू गेट कॉट, आई मीन यू विल बी पनिशेबल फॉर दैट. क्योंकि कल को क्लाइंट कहेगा यार मैंने आपके बंदे को इतना पैसा खिलाया है, मेरा काम नहीं किया आपने, वो तो एम्प्लॉयर के सर पे बोलेगा ना, और एम्प्लॉयर कहेगा मुझे तो पता ही नहीं. So to maintain a regular kind of a discipline जो एक एक्सपेक्ट करते हो, हम इससे अबाउट, अगर हम फैमिली का एग्जांपल ले, व्हाई वी टेल अवर चिल्ड्रन झूठ बोलना पाप है, चोरी नहीं करना, ठीक है, टाइम से आना है, बड़ों की रिस्पेक्ट करनी है, ठीक है, घर की बात बाहर नहीं करनी है. सारी बात हम बच्चों को भी समझाते हैं, वही हम अपने घर में भी लागू कर रहे हैं, ऑफिस में भी लागू कर रहे हैं.
These are code of conduct. General practices what we need to
उसमें
make, but
आपने
we
कौन
need
सी
other
रखनी है,
info.
इट्स योर चॉइस.
Yeah.
उसमें आपने कौन सी रखनी है कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट में, इट्स योर चॉइस.
Okay. That is your choice.
गवर्नमेंट नहीं कह रही है, बट गवर्नमेंट के अंदर आपको स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर में
Show करना है.
करानी है कि मेरा कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट ये कहता है.
Yeah. Okay.
Enough for the day.
Sorry.
I said enough for the day.
Okay. Sure, sure.
Right? I think we have done so much, and now you make a file.
Major big policies.
Yeah.
Few policies are still pending, like recruitment wala and employment recruitment.
वो module जब आएगा, we'll do in that module.
Okay. Okay,
Right?
that comes under recruitment
policy, right?
Hmm.
राइट. अगर आपको कुछ नाम आते हैं तो मुझे नाम टेक्स्ट कर देना, मैं देखूंगी जो हमारे फर्स्ट मॉड्यूल में जनरल पॉलिसीज में आते हैं नहीं आते हैं.
Okay, these are all general policies. Apart from that, other policies
करने के लिए, गुड वर्किंग एनवायरनमेंट के लिए, इस तरीके के हम बनाते हैं, राइट? वो चीजों की पॉलिसीज हमने बनाई. अब हम जब रिक्रूटमेंट में जाएंगे तो हम रिलेटेड ओनली रिक्रूटमेंट पॉलिसीज करेंगे.
Okay.
And these
So
are
appraisal, overtime, all comes under the recruitment part only.
overtime to come under your compensation and benefits.
हाँ, तो that वो भी रहते हैं हमारे overtime policy.
चाहे वो जो ग्रुप में डाल दिया आपको, या जो आपको पहले आ गई या पॉलिसीज, मैंने आपको बोला था वो आप सारी पढ़ोगे, कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे. हम गो ऑन दैट. जो हम यहाँ पे डेली कर रहे हैं वही बनाओ फिर आप.
Sure. ठीक है.
अभी कंपनसेशन सैलरी आपने पढ़ी नहीं, आप सैलरी के बारे में
मैंने अभी उसको मैंने देखा भी नहीं है, बिकॉज वो टॉपिक ही नहीं पता मेरे को, तो उसको देखने का मेरे को पता भी.
मैं भी देख लूंगी मेरे पास कौन सी और पॉलिसी ऐसी है जो मेरे से भी स्टिक हुई है, क्योंकि यू नो हम कुछ सोचते रहते हैं, तो मुझे लगता है ये पॉलिसी भी हो तो कितना बेस्ट है.
लाइक मैंने उस दिन बोला सबको, दिस कोविड सिचुएशन अगर आती है तो इस टाइम पे वी हैव टू अलाउ वर्क फ्रॉम होम. So how we have to make work from home policy.
वो मैं करवा दूंगी, ठीक है, मैं करवा दूंगी आपको. But for today I think it's enough for me to speak even.
No issues.
तो कल करते हैं, और उसके बाद संडे हम मिलते हैं for I'll send you the details, and by the time you start sending me this work जो भी आप कर रहे हो.
Okay, ठीक है. ओके. और जो वो मैंने फर्स्ट वाला आपको भेजा था उसमें करेक्शंस हैं कुछ?
उसमें करेक्शन है, मैंने की भी है, बट मैंने आपको दी नहीं ड्यू टू द
भेजा नहीं है
प्रॉब्लम. एक साथ दूंगी, अभी एक मॉड्यूल पूरा हो जाए ना।
आप एक
मॉड्यूल
एक मैंने एक इसीलिए भेजी थी, आप एक बार मेरे को भेज दो तो सो
चलो
दैट आई कैन
मैं
नो कि मेरा क्या क्या गलती है, मैं उसके अकॉर्डिंग फिर आगे जो
ठीक
भी बनाऊंगी ना, फिर
मैं
वो चीजों
भेजती
को
हूँ।
देख के बनाऊंगी।
ठीक है, आई डू दैट, आई
ठीक है।
सेंड इट टू यू विद द रिमार्क।